welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to go over the structured intake pipeline and how I built that with AI. I originally created a video on this. Check back in the history of my channel. You can see a video on how to create an intake pipeline using GPT-4o. However, in this video, I kind of wanted to do a case study in which we discuss a little bit more of the breakdown, the practical implications, and core concepts that you would need if you wanted to create your own custom workflow when it comes to intake pipelines, and overall just give you a better idea how to create it with regards to intake pipelines as well as how to use AI in your legal practice. So what I'm going to do here, this was the original article which I had a blog post for. I'll probably link this down below in the description of the video, and I have another corresponding blog post which corresponds to this video as well, which will definitely be linked down below in the description of the video so you guys can access it, read it over in more detail. But everything is going to be discussed in this video as well. So originally I created a workflow. I'll show you a basic example. This is just a mock output, but essentially the client inputs their client notes, and it generates a structured matter data of those notes. So if I were to click this run pipeline button, this is just an interactive tool which I have included in the blog post. You'll see it processes through the different steps and generates this extracted matter data, which includes the client, opponent, incident date, practice area, liability, total specials, etc., as well as any missing info. So I discussed in the original video kind of the overall process how this worked, but it followed a two-step pipeline if we exclude input and output. But the first step is you input the client notes as raw intake text. It does two AI calls. The first one is to extract the facts from those client notes into a list. And then using that list from step one, we call a second AI call, which structures that list into what we call a JSON format. JSON format, for if you don't know what it is, it's a structured format and standardized format by which we could extract data from the key value fields. And I've discussed this in previous videos. Afterwards, using that structured data, we're able to call specific portions of that data, and we utilize that in the output. That is the output you can see here of this structure, with this extracted matter data, because we're actually able to extract that specific data from the structured JSON. So I kind of go into some details in that video, but now we're going to discuss some of the practical implications, some a little bit more in depth about a section by section breakdown of how this process works, how the outputs are formulated, and different things you have to think about when designing something AI related to this. So here is a little, I guess, another diagram I have right here of the two parts of the pipeline. I had shown in this was the original step-by-step kind of pipeline process. In this, we're showing a little bit more detail about step one and step two. Let's say that this was the step one output, because as I said, you take the client input notes and then you extract those facts using GPT-4o, Claude from Anthropic, any LLM model you want to use, they should all suffice the same way. So that would extract those matter notes into a list, something like this. So it shows Maria Torres, 34 years old, plaintiff. Midland Trucking Code, the defendant. Rear end collision. This is just a shortened version, but you get the point that it's going to extract that and output that, a list of all the specific information. Afterwards, using this generic list, we structure that into structured matter. We call it, so JSON uses, I mentioned just JSON before, it uses what we call key value pairs. So the key is client, opponent, specials, liability, statutes of limitation flag, and then the value is the corresponding portion after the colon. So client would have value Maria Torres, opponent would have value Midland Trucking Co. Specials would have value $12,400. Liability would have value strong, etc. And this is just generally speaking how you would structure it for this specific task where we're structuring matter data, but as well as for other different AI workflows where we need to structure the data as well. So you can see that from step one, originally we would just have scattered matter notes. The AI prompt in step one is going to consolidate data into a list. And then afterwards, in step two, we actually structure that data from step one. And the reason we do it in two separate calls instead of one is because generally speaking, when you use AI, yes, does it have the capability to do this all in one prompt? But the way AI works, it uses what we call tokens. And the more instructions that are in a specific prompt, due to the context window of tokens, it has more of a chance to hallucinate. So generally speaking, when you use AI, you want to leave one task for every single portion of the AI. So step one is just outputting those unstructured matter notes into the list. And then step two is taking that list from step one and then structuring that into the JSON format. By sitting there fragmenting the steps, one, if there's an issue, we're able to backtrace and figure out exactly what's going on. And two, it allows the AI to perform one task at one time and reduce those risks of hallucination. So now, either way, it is very important to check over everything that the AI outputs. It's just a draft, it's just a starting point. It's never actual human judgment. That's something that you need to be aware of. And this is kind of just, I have it here as well. Keeping them separated was deliberate because the model, due to the low context with tokens, it just doesn't have the capacity sometimes. It does, but it has more of a chance of hallucination. So the model will rush this extraction, which could cause edge cases, improper formatting, etc. So this is just a little bit more in depth here as some of the things I discuss. Step two produces the client and opponent. Oh, these are all the JSON key value pairs. So client and opponent, practice area, incident summary, injuries and treatment, special damages, liability assessment, statutes of limitation flag, and missing info. And then with regards to the missing info, if I show you the original kind of output we had here, these are the missing information where it says follow-ups required, because these are specific facts from the matter notes which weren't available, so the AI wasn't able to generate confident things here. And generally speaking, we don't want AI to infer. The AI has the ability to infer, but inference, generally speaking, when it comes to legal practice, is not what we want. We want concrete judgment. So anything that it flags as missing info or follow-up required, it includes that here as well, which corresponds to the missing info section. Any missing info flags which we have in the generated output. So missing info can include things such as, these would be the common flags such as insurance policy limits, prior injuries or prior accidents, exact treatment end date, or whether the treatments are ongoing, employer and wage documentation, and whether the police report was filed, and the corresponding report number. So as I said, we don't want AI to infer. We don't want it to invent and make up things. That's why we just mark it as a missing flag, and then that's something that needs follow-up. And then, generally speaking, this is just a preliminary liability assessment based off the notes. It's not a final judgment call. It just gives you a draft, and then from that draft, we build upon that. And there's some other information here, such as the statutes of limitation flag. I'm not going to get too much in detail on that. One thing just to note is where the pipeline may break down. Most of this is just dependent on how you choose to prompt AI. For the specific pipeline I had initially created, which utilizes these AI prompts for the different steps, the extraction step, and then the structuring of the matter data step. My pipeline is not necessarily accounting for multi-party cases, for legally complex facts, for very short intake notes, because then it has to make inferences, which it needs enough data to actually create structured matter. And then if there's actual client contradictions, because it doesn't have the judgment information to be able to tell the truth versus what's false. So here as well, just like the original blog post, I have the mock structured matter data where you can actually sit there and see it, as well as I have a tool here where you could input your matter notes, your intake notes, as well as upload any corresponding files. You click run. This is free to use, 5 runs a day. If you ever need this for your daily tasks, save yourself some time. And we don't take any of your data. It just runs through our APIs, and we provide you this free tool at your disposal. So these are just different things to consider. I hope this kind of clarifies a lot on how the logic behind an intake pipeline for structuring matter data. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section of this video. If you liked the video, make sure to like it, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in working with me, one, I'll have the blog post linked down below with all of the corresponding resources, as well as if you visit my website, which will be linked down below, we can book a call. I can help you with any AI or programmatic related questions with regards to automation. And if you have any other questions, we can hop on a call as well, and I could guide you with whatever you need assistance with. So I thank you guys for watching this one. I'll have another video coming out shortly, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.